this element. Thank you. Okay, everyone got quiet and the lights are going down, so it must be time to start. In front of you, you have the 2024-25 fifth grade band. We're going to start with a piece entitled Elizabethan Dance. So that was Elizabethan dance. We're going to follow that up with a piece, and this is kind of, I told the kids, this is kind of a selfish concert for me. This is all music that I like, and I enjoy teaching it, and I've enjoyed teaching it to these kids out here. They have done a wonderful job, and I love their culture of hard work. I love how this class, more than they lift themselves up, they lift each other up, and they're super kind to each other, and I love that about this class. The next piece that we're going to perform is entitled Boogie Blues, and so this is a blues piece, and so we learned a little bit about like jazz and how to play with jazz articulation and things like that, a little bit because they're beginners. And we're going to feature 4 soloists on this as well, and these soloists are printed up in your program, so please make sure that you watch and listen for our soloists as part of Boogie Blues. And I have to move this microphone for Kendall, so give me a second. Lots live performance, right? The kids got to run through this one time on stage today, and they were awesome on stage today. It was really great. Before we play the last piece for the fifth graders, and remember fifth graders, this is a reminder for them, we're going to be exiting stage that way and having seats until the sixth grade is done, and then when the sixth grade finishes, we're going to bring them all back up together. We're going to do Mr. Polson's favorite thing in the world, which is play Mega Band. They're going to play these all together, which is going to be great. So before we play our last piece, which in the band room we don't call it by its name, what do we call our last piece, kids? 152. We just call it 152 because that's what it is in the book. But I have to do a little bit of talking. And so a little bit of talking here is Solo Festival. These kids had a solo performance. Every single student in the band performed a solo this year. Some students performed more than one because they're percussionists, so they played a mallet solo and a snare drum solo. Some students performed even more. There were a couple of students who performed duets with each other and things like that. And it's great because that's part of our curriculum as musicians, as student musicians. We play music with others, which is what we're doing right now, and alone. So they played for a solo performance for a judge. And they got some really great feedback from that judge, didn't they, kids? And I think he did a great job of pumping them up, and they sounded just awesome since then. So from that festival, our judge recognized a few students who he felt were outstanding in their performances and deserved recognition. And so these students, when I call your name, would you please make your way forward, please? There are 3 this year, which is really great. Okay, so our first flute player. So this student made a great impact on the judge with her flute solo, Hadley Gross. And Mom and Dad, we can do a picture after if you want to. So great job, Hadley. This student performed, this might be a first and it may be an only. This student performed 4 pieces, if I have my count right. 4, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, yeah, I think 4 is the right number. And they were all Division 1 pluses. So this student, that 1+ is a superior rating, it's the best that you can rate as a 5th grader. So this one is from Keegan Meyer. Okay, and this final student also performed quite a bit. The student performed 3 events for Solo Festival and also earned all Division 1 pluses. This one is for Connor Cronin. One last hand for these kids. And those students were, according to the judge, deserving of special recognition, but all of the kids did just an awesome job. And now we're going to play our final number. It's 152, and I only ever played this with one other group in my time here at Harlan. It's been 11 years, and I felt like this was the right group for this. And I think I told you guys that. I don't remember. Did I tell you guys that? No, I've only ever performed this one other time. It's really challenging, and I hope we leave you with a toe tapper. This is 152.
Attention. Whoa, there we go. Mr. Cronin, come on up here. So, many of you may not know this, but Mr. Cronin is headed back to his old stopping grounds to Lamar's area and is going to be a bulldog. Right? How fitting. He just said that he was here, it seems like longer than 11 years. Is it only?
Well, it seems like...
Yeah, okay. At least we agree. I feel very, very fortunate for the kids to be able to have a director, an instructor like Mr. Cronin over the years. The judges... The judges, we were just talking about the students that got the awards, and it's all about the kids. But you know, when the judges come, they say these guys sound like high school students, or they sound like 8th graders or 9th graders when they're playing, and it's their very first year of playing. Well, they're putting a lot of work in, and they're wonderful, but it takes the expectation and it takes the instruction as well. So I appreciate it. I know the community appreciates it. You know, I don't know how many years in a row we've been in the final group of state jazz, and that starts down here with this foundation. And we have tradition here, and you're a part of that. So thank you for being part of it, and we wish you the best. Let's give Mr. Cronin
Don't forget Sandy, we have more music to play.
Hello, my name is Lacey and I play the flute. My favorite part about being in band is seeing my friends. This piece is a bold and exciting fanfare that makes a strong opening for our concert. It uses powerful brass sounds and strong rhythms to create the feeling of climbing a tall mountain. The word summit means the top of a mountain, and the music helps you imagine what it might feel like to reach the peak. The music builds energy as it goes, just like a climber working harder as they get closer to the top. We hope you enjoy this exciting musical journey. Woo!
Hello, my name is Xavier Roseman and I play the tenor sax. My favorite part about being in band is playing music with my friends. Afterburn is a fast and thrilling piece that feels like you're flying a jet at high speed. The name comes from the powerful engines and jets that gives an extra burst of speed, called an afterburn. The music is full of energy and action, with quick rhythms and exciting changes. It might remind you of a race or a chase through the sky. Buckle up and get ready for takeoff.
Hello, my name is Katie Cross and I play the trombone. My favorite part about being band is sitting next to Daniela. This piece sounds like the soundtrack to an epic space adventure. A fanfare is a short piece that celebrates something or gets your attention, and this one imagines a bright star shining in space. The music has a strong heroic feel, almost like it could be a part of a science fiction movie. Listen for the powerful brass and exciting rhythms that make it sound like you're flying past stars and planets. It's super short but dramatic.
Hello, my name is Joshua Rollins and I play the clarinet. My favorite part about being in band is learning new music. This spooky piece tells a musical story about a mysterious ghost hiding in an attic. You might hear sounds that remind you of creaky floors, whispers, or things moving around when no one is there. The music builds suspense and uses special effects to create a creepy feeling. It's not too scary, but just enough to make you wonder what's up there. Watch out, the ghost might be listening.
let you guys know about what these students did. Was that last week we went to large group? Yeah, last week. These guys hopped on a bus and traveled down to Council Bluffs at Lewis Central, and they performed a few of the selections that we're performing tonight for some judges that are some pretty important band people across the Midwest. So they traveled all the way for that. And we ended up receiving a Division I rating, which is like the best you can do at these types of things. So huge congratulations. Feedback on some things that maybe they could do a little bit better. And the judge came up to me after and she's like, man, these guys are like totally responsive to everything you do. So these guys are really hard workers and I'm proud of each and every one of them. So keep up the awesome work, guys. Brinkley, you can come on up and introduce our last song.
Hello, my name is Brinkley Reichel, and I play the percussion. My favorite part about being in band is playing many musical instruments. Get ready for a musical ride through space. Comet Ride will take you on an imaginary journey riding a comet as it soars through the galaxy. The music is fast, fun, and full of motion, just like a comet zooming through the stars. It has exciting rhythms and sparkling sounds that make it feel like an adventure. Thank you for attending our portion of this evening's concert. There will be a brief intermission while we invite the 5th grade band back on stage to perform our final selection together. We hope you enjoy the ride.
world premiere performance of this rendition of a piece called Tadpoles by Randall Sandridge. I say a world premiere because literally the kids have not rehearsed this together. So this is actually kind of unique, and I told them, that's my mom. Thank you, Mom, for making it to the concert. 87 still comes to all my concerts. Thanks, Mom. Once again, Mom. So really important for the kids, right? Band ball 1. Awesome. I'm going to give them a couple of super quick instructions, and then we are going to enjoy the first and only time you're ever going to hear this group, and the first and only time they're ever going to do it, to perform the Peace Tadpoles.
Percussion.
Tell them to clean their room. I'm not a miracle worker.
when actually going out there.
I don't know where you can get those. Maybe Menards has them?
Back by the bathroom.
What's that? No, not sticky traps. I'm talking about to keep the mice out. The bottom thing on the garage door. See it now? That's just... Why don't you put your cat in there? Oh, the door doctor? Nobody will get into our chickens. They'll eat their chicks. I've got some books and stuff we can use.
Where do you plan on putting a lot of that stuff in the garage?
Don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I think we just have to have a couple days where we attack it. I know I can't get them up there either, especially with all the other stuff.
I want to kind of get rid of that metal shelf that's right by the door. All it does is it cleans up. I don't know that there's anything
Half
in
of
there.
those hunting goods, I think we need to look around like this. That would actually want to live something. There's so many pairs of them. One of them, I think, I'm specific is in like the fourth part. I don't really. I said goodbye to your boots. I don't think anyone's even going to know I hurry away. There's so many to run all the steps.
I can sell those. There's actually weights, lead weights that go with those vests. Those decoys.
I told them we can have a garage sale.